Right now at 6, a man is in custody after a shootout with police in Miami, Oklahoma.
And we've got a hot and breezy day for us as we get into June. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, friends and family gather in Nevada, Missouri to support a family that lost a loved one.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday. It's June the 2nd. And of course, yesterday, the unofficial start to summer. And boy, it's certainly starting to feel like it.
It really
and
did.
It will certainly feel like it again today. And we'll have gusty winds out there as well. So those of you like Elise with hair, hold on to that.
Yeah, I'm going to need to put it up later.
Yeah, might need to do something to take care of that, as it is going to be pretty breezy the next couple of days as well. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh and see we've got one cloud. If you look back behind the hotel there, you can see it off into the distance to the east. Otherwise, we are a bit hazy. Got some patchy fog as well this morning. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin looks good. Also, again, just a few folks out there, but in the next, I'm sure 20 minutes or so, there will be a lot more folks out there. Again, looking at the fog tracker around Stockton Lake, points west, and around Grand Lake, we do have some reduced visibilities out there, and we do have some patchy reduced visibilities in between these zones. So most reporting stations, as you can see, are showing pretty good visibility, but you still got to watch out for some of that patchy fog. Now, overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning, we do have some strong thunderstorms possible. At this time, no tornado or hail risk areas highlighted, but we do have an isolated wind risk into southeast Kansas, where we could get winds 50, 60 miles an hour. This is going to be, again, overnight tonight. Let's say best chances for strong storms are going to be between about 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. tomorrow. As for today, though, things look fantastic. In fact, it's going to be toasty and it's going to be breezy. Could get a stray cloud or two out there, but with south winds, they're going to be increasing through the morning and into the afternoon. It's going to bring in the warm air. It's going to bring in the moisture. It's going to be setting the stage for our thunderstorm chances later tonight and tomorrow morning and in through the rest of the week. But as you can see, otherwise, we are dry and, again, a bit on the warm side. Now, those thunderstorm chances for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, we do have a level 2 out of 5 risk for strong to severe thunderstorms as we roll through late morning and into the afternoon and evening hours on our Tuesday. For Wednesday, right now, no severe areas highlighted. We're just looking at some scattered thunderstorm chances out there, but we do have additional thunderstorm days, which could bring some additional strong, potentially severe thunderstorms. We got 63 right now in Joplin, 61 in Pittsburgh, and across the region, temperatures pretty mild, at or just above normal, low to mid 60s this morning. Highs today definitely above normal. We should be about 80, 81. We're looking at highs into the mid, maybe even some upper 80s. Clear skies, get maybe a stray cloud or two, and those south winds gusting to 20. Our thunderstorm chances, as I mentioned, start increasing late tonight through tomorrow and through the weekend. We'll go over all those details with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, a man is in custody following an exchange of gunfire with police in Miami, Oklahoma. Reports of shots fired at the Mia Bella restaurant in Miami alerted law enforcement late Saturday night. A male had fired a weapon from outside through the glass into the restaurant. Officers arrived on scene and confronted the subject before gunfire was exchanged. A short-foot pursuit ensued and gunfire was exchanged again at Arby's. Miami Police Chief Stephen Sigmund says gunfire was exchanged in another location. The subject was shot, taken into custody, and life-flighted to Tulsa. No officers were injured. Only one person at Mia Bella's suffered minor injuries by flying glass.
Starting from Mia Bella's, chased him. We have a scene here at the Arby's as well where gunfire was exchanged. We also have another scene at 13th Northwest and Avenue B where the final gunfire was exchanged between the subject and our officer.
We can find more information about the incident on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just before 7 p.m. Saturday evening, a semi and an SUV collided at Newman Road in North Rangeline in Joplin. 3 people were transported to area hospitals and their injury status is unknown. The semi was traveling north on Rangeline and the SUV traveling south. The SUV turned east into the path of the semi. Officers marked and measured the crash for investigation, and traffic was disrupted through the area for about 90 minutes. You can find updates on KOAMnewsnow.com. And you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, race fans gathered this past Sunday at Nevada Speedway for a benefit lunch to support the Baldwin family. Now, this followed the tragic news that 10-year-old Jordan Baldwin was struck by a vehicle and was in critical condition. All proceeds from the lunch went to help with medical expenses, and attendees enjoyed a choice of hamburger, cheeseburger, hot dog, or cheese-filled dog with barbecue baked beans, potato salad, chips, and a drink.
My husband, he races a pure stock, and actually he drove for the grandpa, the little boy. So the little boy was actually involved in victory lane quite a bit with us. He was a huge fan of my husband's. He loved going there, so this kind of hit a different hole for us. So, we just wanted, as being family friends, we wanted to support them when they needed us the most.
Organizers also held a cornhole tournament and a silent auction with items donated by the community and racers. Well, an area nonprofit hosted a 5K run, walk, and roll to raise funds. KOAM's Mitch Adams has more.
Spinal Cord and Brain Injury Resource Center. Around 300,000 Americans live with a spinal cord injury. The Live With It Foundation, a nonprofit based in Oswego, Kansas, hosts a wheelie fun run to raise money for people affected by spinal cord injuries.
Here in Southeast Kansas, we are fortunate that we have a lot of people that live here that are willing to give of themselves to help other people. And that's after I got paralyzed, that's the thing that I noticed, is that people were just so willing and so generous to reach out and help others, and I think that's what makes this such a great place to live.
Cass Lewis is Olson's nephew, who had a big hand in bringing this event to life last year. What started as a fundraiser assignment for a marketing class has now turned into an annual event.
And then my mom, I think, was the one who said, why don't you do it for Kevin's thing? And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But yeah, and then we started debating on what to do and things like that. Eventually it turned into me running for an hour and people pledging a donation per lap that I took around the track, which was grueling. I was very tired. I wasn't in very good shape, so it was pretty bad for me. So this is a lot better just running a 5K. But yeah, it's awesome seeing this many people out here. It's crazy.
The Live With It Foundation distributed around $30,000 in 2024 to help community members with spinal cord injuries. But Olson says it wouldn't be possible without the community and their contributions.
It's really incredible. It makes me feel grateful, and makes me just feel as if that we're doing the right thing.
On your mark, get set, go.
In Labette County, Kansas, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. At least 8 people are injured after an attacker used a makeshift flamethrower on people who were marching to support the Israeli hostages held in Gaza. And we have a warm and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from the Quapaw City Park. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, an attacker threw Molotov cocktails at a group of peaceful marchers walking to raise awareness for the October 7th Israeli hostages yesterday in Boulder, Colorado. At least 8 people ranging from age 52 to 88 were injured, with one person's injuries considered to be serious. The suspect was taken into custody at the scene, and the FBI is assisting police in investigating what it calls a targeted act of violence. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
There's a male with a blowtorch setting people on fire.
A shocking attack in downtown Boulder. Witnesses say this man, identified by the FBI as 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Suleiman, used a makeshift flamethrower and threw Molotov cocktails, burning people who were marching to support the Israeli hostages held in Gaza.
I heard a big boom and people yelling and screaming.
Tourist Alex Osante says the attack happened while he was having lunch at a nearby restaurant.
One person caught on fire from head to toe.
Osante says he gave bottles of water to people who rushed in to help the victims. Witnesses and authorities say the suspect was heard yelling phrases including "Free Palestine" before he was taken into custody at the scene.
It is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism.
A U.S. official confirms to CBS News that the suspect is an Egyptian national who overstayed his visa after entering the U.S. in August of 2022. He has recently lived in Colorado Springs, and the FBI says it is also conducting operations in El Paso County.
The fact that this is happening to Jews in my local community makes me scared.
Leaders of Boulder's Jewish community released a statement Sunday saying, when events like this enter our own community, we are shaken. Our hope is that we come together for one another. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Police say the suspect was treated for minor injuries at a hospital after he was taken into custody. Law enforcement sources say investigators are delving into the suspect's background and social media posts as they try to determine what inspired him to commit the attack and if he acted alone. And still to come, doctors warn that President Trump's fluoride ban could cause harm to children's health. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, a 64-year-old man out on a hike on Memorial Day is recovering after he fell 20 feet. This happened in Adams Canyon in Layton, Utah. An off-duty nurse happened to be in the area and helped organize a group of people to help save the man. Brittany Tate spoke with the nurse and has more.
It was just a miracle. It really was.
A Memorial Day miracle.
Lots of people on the trail, lots of people down at the waterfall.
Ashley Anderson, a school nurse, was hiking with her 2 children and her dogs when friends yelled that medical help was needed.
He was right there. I looked over and I didn't even know what I was looking at first. It took me a second to register that it was a body.
A grandfather had fallen 20 feet near the lower falls of Adams Canyon. Ashley and others rushed to his side.
We need something to put on his head to help with the bleeding. And this guy rips off his shirt and throws it at me. So we put that on his head, and then several of us picked him up and moved him over to a dry area over on the rocks.
A team of fellow hikers kept the man stable while Layton Fire and Search and Rescue crews attempted a narrow helicopter rescue in a tight space.
He did shatter his patella, so the knee bone, and then he broke his femur. He was not being reckless. He wasn't climbing up the rocks.
It's a situation that Ashley says has changed her. She now has a forever friendship with people who just days ago were strangers.
There had to have been angels or somebody helping him.
Perhaps the kind of earthly angels who are walking the same path and ready to lend a hand.
The man is expected to make a full recovery. Doctors say he was lucky he didn't suffer a traumatic brain or spinal cord injury during his fall. Now here's Chris with a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got that hazy start to this day as we've got some of that smoke from the Canadian wildfires out there. We've otherwise got a pretty decent but very warm day ahead of increasing thunderstorm chances. The latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:21 now on this Monday morning, and we do have strong to severe thunderstorm chances starting to build in over the next few days, starting as early as late tonight into very early tomorrow morning. At this point, no tornado or hail risk areas highlighted, which is some good news. But we do have an isolated wind risk across parts of southeastern Kansas. So in this zone, we're talking the possibility of winds 50, 60 miles an hour. And again, this is going to be Overnight tonight, best window looks to be between about 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. Tomorrow morning for those storms. Between here and there, other than the hazy skies from the smoke from the Canadian wildfires, which will actually be retreating just a bit because we're going to get south winds increasing, already starting to do so this morning. That brings in warmer air. It will bring in more moisture, which is more energy for our thunderstorm chances again starting overnight tonight. Otherwise, today, though, looks fantastic. By about 10 o'clock or so, an isolated shower storm is possible. Not looking anything too intense from that. But once we reach about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, working into southeastern Kansas, here comes those thunderstorm chances that, again, could be strong to low-grade severe. Now, as we head towards sunrise tomorrow, as you can see, now we've just got kind of a mess of scattered showers and storms, but it doesn't take long for them to try and reorganize. By about 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and by 9, you can see they're looking a little more organized, a little more impressive. And so starting around 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, our window for additional strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms begins to open up. And we'll start to see scattered or even in some cases isolated storms by late morning into the afternoon, but some of those nonetheless could still be strong, potentially severe, with the greatest threat initially confined in our northern counties in southeast Kansas. But see this boundary here? Here comes that cold front, and here comes the better storm chances by late tomorrow afternoon and evening. We start to see additional showers and storms. Now, here's what we're looking at is we've got a line of showers and storms expected that'll be rolling in from the west. If we get any development ahead of that line, which Future Track at least is suggesting is a possibility, we're going to need to watch those storms as well because the severe threat with those storms ahead of the line would be a little more amplified than the threat within the line itself. Excuse me. So that line continues to push through by 10 o'clock. Nevada, Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, and then back toward Fredonia, Coffeyville. These storms will roll through overnight. Now, one thing I want to point out is by 1 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, you'll see this line of showers and storms out here, which could still be strong to severe. It freezes and then vanishes because that particular piece of data only runs through, at least right now, until it updates again a little later this morning through 1 a.m. But I want to emphasize that that line of storms is what's looking like the very likely probability that we'll get. It's just we ran out of data at that point. However, another one that goes out a little further still hints at the possibility of showers and storms ahead of that line and at least continuing through very early Wednesday morning before we finally get a little break ahead of more storms as we roll into the Wednesday late afternoon and evening hours. So for tomorrow, here's what our threat breakdown is. We have an isolated tornado threat across most of the area. We do have at least a scattered hail chance, mainly to our very far western counties out here. So we're talking quarter-size hail or larger. The next big concern, though, is going to be with wind. We have that across most of the region. That's going to be 60, maybe 70 mile-an-hour wind gusts out there. Here comes the sun, 7th in range line, 70 by 8 o'clock this morning, warming up quickly, near 80 by 11. As we head into the afternoon, maybe a cloud here or there, otherwise clear skies, mid to upper 80s, and south winds gusting to 20. As I mentioned, an isolated shower storm by maybe 9, 10 o'clock tonight. Otherwise, those storms will begin to increase overnight, back down to 70, non-thunderstorm winds gusting to 25. Once we get into late Wednesday afternoon and evening, we get additional showers and thunderstorms. Now, they'll be scattered through the day as we head into Thursday, so not rain everywhere all at once, but we do have that thunderstorm chance out there. And as we head into early Friday, late Thursday, early Friday, another round of thunderstorms out there, some of which could be strong, possibly severe, and that will continue from Friday and unfortunately continues into the weekend as well. So don't necessarily cancel your weekend plans just yet, but definitely get the KOM Skywatch weather app, keep an eye to the sky. For now, in the extended severe weather outlook, the only day we have highlighted is Thursday, which is off to our west, but it's something we want to keep an eye on over the next few days. So a possible alert day tomorrow with the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. Thunderstorm chances continue through at least this weekend, and we should start to clear out next week. Let's check your forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Trump administration's efforts to remove fluoride from drinking water is likely to have serious harmful effects on oral health in children, according to a recent study in JAMA. Researchers project a 7.5% increase in tooth decay and an added $9.8 billion in healthcare costs. Doctors say fluoride has significant health benefits and is safe to consume in the levels currently used in drinking water. Well, early detection and improved cancer treatments are leading to more Americans surviving and living with cancer. A report by the American Cancer Society found 18.6 million Americans are currently living with cancer, and that number is projected to reach 22 million by 2035. Now, while the report shows cancer patients are living longer, the data also shows large racial disparities for cancer survival still exist. Well, routine mammograms saves lives. The Radiological Society of North America looked at women who got mammograms only after cancer symptoms were detected compared with women who got regular screenings without symptoms. Now, those who got routine scans had lower odds of advanced stage breast cancer, lower rates of needing a mastectomy, and lower rates of death. It's another reminder that early detection is everything. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, pups and humans alike gather in downtown Carl Junction for a dog-friendly block party.
And we've got some haze from those Canadian wildfires. We have a warm and breezy day ahead of us. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, the third annual Brutus Fest takes place. We'll take you to the world's largest electric shovel for the celebration.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday. It is June the 2nd. Yesterday, the unofficial start to summer, and it was certainly a very warm one across the area for
very
sure.
warm.
It is nice to see, though, start to feel a little like summer. We don't need 90s or 100s, but 80s aren't that bad.
That was good.
That wasn't bad at all. It's going to be another very warm day out there for us ahead of increasing thunderstorm chances. Let's start, though, with that look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. You can see the sun, but you can also see not just the haze, but some fog, but we've got the haze and smoke from the wildfires up in Canada, and that's been making its way down here. Now, something that will actually help kind of clear some of that out today is going to be our gusty south winds, kind of pushing that smoke back up to the north. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good as well. Fog tracker, a reminder, especially now around the Grand Lake area, still some reduced visibility, so do keep that in mind. And also just watch out for some patchy fog here and there. I got my right way into the station just from here to here. Joplin, Pittsburgh show good visibility, but did run into some patchy fog. Some of it was dense, so just keep that in mind this morning. And then late tonight, early tomorrow morning, we do have a chance for some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms. Now, as of right now, we don't have any tornado or hail areas highlighted, risk areas highlighted, which is good, but we do have this isolated wind risk into southeast Kansas. So we're talking winds 50, 60 miles an hour possible, some of the stronger storms overnight tonight. All right, for today, though, other than maybe a passing cloud or two, winds will be out of the south. They'll be gusting. Temperatures very warm, a bit above average out there for many of us, but otherwise we will remain dry through the majority of this day. Again, it won't be until late tonight we start to see those thunderstorm chances begin to increase. Heading into tomorrow, though, we do have a possible alert day for Tuesday, as we have a level 2 out of 5 risk for pretty much the entire area for additional strong to severe thunderstorms. Some of those could develop as early as 9 a.m. and they'll become a bit more scattered, and those chances will increase into the afternoon, which we'll go over all of this with you here in a few more minutes. 63, both Joplin and Pittsburgh right now, and take a look at the temperature map. We're doing pretty good. All of us low to mid 60s as we get this day started, and about 60 is where our average low should be. So we're not that far off pace, but our highs about 80, 81 for the average, and we're looking at mid, maybe even some upper 80s, especially in our southern counties, with those south winds again gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour. So here's what we've got. We've got the increasing thunderstorm chances starting overnight tonight, running all the way through this upcoming weekend, and some of them, as I mentioned, could be strong to severe. We're going to break down all those details for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, another Saturday means another farmer's market. Saturday, the Webb City Police Department was handing out free kid IDs. Now, this material allows parents to provide necessary information to law enforcement if the child ever goes missing or runs away. The IDs contain space for fingerprints, a current photo, and dental records. Well, pups and their humans gathered in downtown Carl Junction Saturday for a dog-friendly block party. The party, hosted by Pups, a super neat dog boutique, had 15 vendors and the one and only doggy food truck, Holiday's Tail Wagon. Now, prizes were available to those who attended, and not to mention all the pup-focused activities.
I love seeing all the dogs and people coming out and celebrating their dog, just having fun with their dog, doing activities with their dog. That's the greatest thing. There's so many different breeds here, and we just got started, so it's been wonderful.
The party also coincides with the boutique's Bonkers Fifth Friday sale. Well, the third annual Big Brutus celebration happened over the weekend, and it was expected to see a record turnout. Big Brutus is known for being the largest electric shovel that still exists.
Obviously mining history, and of course I'm here to promote railroad history, and they are tied together because one of the reasons why this area has such a rich railroad history is because of all the mining, because there had to be ways to get what was mined out of the area.
Saturday's celebration saw all the staple family-friendly activities as well as a presentation with miners who worked with Big Brutus in the 60s and 70s. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. President Trump's trade war heats back up as he doubles his tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum. Plus, Isabel's Kitchen recalls its refrigerated deli salads. We'll have the details. So you're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Quapaw City Park. In Consumer Watch this morning, criminals are using artificial intelligence chatbots to clean up telltale signs like clunky grammar and weird phrasing. And experts say this evolution is proving very effective. Ivan Rodriguez shows us how scammers are using AI and what people should look out for to help distinguish between reality and deception.
Nowadays, being able to catch AI-ridden scams feels like it requires an entirely new approach.
I would say yes, new playbook. I think training needs to be highly personalized.
Mike Britton with Abnormal AI says AI chatbots are helping scammers write messages that are not only free of typos, but also closely resemble those of trusted senders.
If I have a few samples of your writing or email, I can mimic your style using a ChatGPT or a Claude or any other AI chatbot. It's fairly trivial to understand what tools and technologies your organization uses, whether you're a Zoom shop or you use Microsoft, whatever you use for email, and I can start to craft third-party type of messages attacking you.
For example, Britton says, a scammer might send what looks like a Zoom update email or an email impersonating your work's IT department, knowing there's a high likelihood people may open the link.
So as an attacker, I'm going to pretend to be one of those trusted brands.
With the threat of scammers trying to deceive people, Britton says there are ways people can stay aware and protect themselves on top of training through their work.
Time is your friend. Attackers and criminals are always working off a sense of urgency. And so if I get an email and it's my CEO and my CEO is asking for urgent help on getting gift cards, the more I step away and let my brain re-engage and kind of let the amygdala hijack kind of wear off, then I'm much more likely to use my training and what I know is the right things to do and not reply.
Well, President Donald Trump's trade war could be ratcheting up again this week. Friday, the president announced that tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum will double from 25% to 50% starting on Wednesday. This as he accuses China of breaking a recent agreement by withholding the export of rare minerals. This morning, a Chinese government spokesperson said the accusations are groundless and vowed that Beijing will take forceful measures to protect its own interests. More fresh produce products are being recalled because they contain cucumbers that have been linked to a salmonella outbreak. Isabel's Kitchen is recalling refrigerated deli salads sold under its name as well as under the names King's and Maple Avenue Foods. Supreme Produce is also recalling multiple grab-and-go salad and veggie pack products, which were mostly distributed by Kroger and affiliated retailers. The FDA says consumers should throw away the impacted products. And Disney's live-action Lilo and Stitch is now the second highest grossing film of 2025 in the U.S., topping the weekend domestic box office again with $63 million. The film has grossed more than $280 million in North America so far, putting it behind a Minecraft movie. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning was second with over $27 million. Karate Kid Legends debuted at third with $21 million. Well, Americans love their pets, and it's easy to think a carefree pup or napping kitten is sheltered from economic concerns like inflation and tariffs. But new data finds pet owners have felt a squeeze recently. Karen Kafa has the details from Washington.
As inflation remains elevated and tariffs come on the scene, caring for a pet has become more costly in some areas.
It does cost quite a lot for the average household to look after their four-legged friends.
And is finally starting to cool in others. The Bank of America Institute notes that pet food inflation slowed to almost zero last month, but inflation in pet services like veterinary care remains elevated.
There's the labor costs of the vets and the supply of people who can, with those important skills that's determining the cost.
Meanwhile, tariffs could hike the prices of some pet supplies. Barton O'Brien is the founder of Bay Dog, which makes everything from harnesses to collars to toys. He says once his pre-tariff inventory is out, prices have to go up.
The current tariff rate is actually higher than my operating margin. So if I don't raise prices, I'm just going to go out of business.
And as prices rise across the board, Bank of America says some pet owners are trading down on the pet food they buy and seeking pet insurance to help ease the cost of vet bills.
Households are under pressure for all sorts of reasons, lots of rising costs just unrelated to pets. And I think one of the things we've seen in our Bank of America spending data is households are actually pulling back on spending.
With all of the current economic factors at play, pet care website Rover estimated the cost of owning a dog will increase up to 7% in 2025. The cost of owning a cat up as much as 10%. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
We've got some of that haze out there, Kev, from the Canadian wildfires. Otherwise, we've got a nice day, very warm though, ahead of increasing thunderstorm chances. We'll have a look at your forecast and birthdays and anniversaries right after this. All right, time for some Monday birthdays in the 4 states, and we're going to start with Calvin Tuba, celebrating birthday number 3 with a big ice cream cone there. Happy birthday.
And in Alba, a happy 3rd birthday as well to Eliane Vandergraft. It says, happy birthday. I hope you have the best day ever. Mama loves you so much.
And we've got Layla Sturm celebrating birthday number 5 today. Says, happy birthday, princess. We love you from the family.
And a happy 10th birthday to Abel Jackson in Pittsburgh.
And in Galena, Sydney Moore celebrating birthday number 18 says happy birthday and congratulations on your graduation.
And in Carthage, a happy 19th birthday to Kylie Buck.
And we head over to Pittsburgh for Dawson Mirando celebrating birthday number 25. Happy birthday, Dawson.
And happy birthday to Jeff Bowles, turning 37 today. It says, with lots of love from your whole family.
And in Pittsburgh, Orrin Humble celebrating birthday number 46 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 62nd birthday to Brian Natalini in Columbus. It says, love your wife, Susie.
Also in Columbus, Kevin Combs celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday.
And continuing with the happy 14th birthday to Max Morris in Frontenac.
And we've got Dorothy Fouch celebrating birthday number 72.
And happy 87th birthday to Violet Ham.
And happy 90th birthday to Everett Hines. Happy birthday.
And in Columbus, happy birthday to Chris Johnson.
And last but certainly not least, Steve Engelbrecht in Miami celebrating another year wiser as well, with love from your friends and family. Another great list, especially for a Monday, of birthdays and anniversaries. And of course, if you'd like to celebrate with us, Elise has information you need to know.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and your anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to also, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen. And to also please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Very important information, and we've got some very important weather information after what was a pretty good weekend overall. A little warmer yesterday, warmer today. We're starting to see the return of shower and thunderstorm chances, and that does also include the risk for some strong to potentially severe storms out there as well. So overnight tonight, so we're talking after midnight, maybe 1 a.m., we do have a chance of some strong to low-grade severe storms. Now, right now, no tornado or hail risk areas highlighted, which is good, but we do have this isolated wind risk into parts of southeast Kansas, and that is going to be for winds that could reach 50, 60 miles an hour overnight tonight. So around 10 or so, we could get an isolated shower storm. Storm chances then increase after midnight, and by about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when we're going to start to see those stronger storm chances out there. For today, other than some of that haze from the Canadian wildfires, we're looking at clear skies, maybe a stray cloud or two, gusty south winds, bringing in the warmer air, bringing in that moisture, bringing in everything, the ingredients basically, to make these thunderstorms late tonight into our Tuesday. But our day will otherwise be dry. And as I mentioned, if you look, you'll see by 10, maybe an isolated shower storm. Here we are at 2 a.m. Here come those thunderstorm chances in the southeast Kansas. We have this window from roughly, it looks like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. for some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms. And as we get a little closer to sunrise, at least for a bit, these storms become a lot more disorganized. That's not saying we couldn't get a strong storm or two, but they're a lot more disorganized with just more widespread scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. However, about 8, 9 o'clock, they try and reorganize a bit, and some of them could go back to strong to low-grade severe status as we reach, again, 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. But we start to at least momentarily clear out to the west. And once we get past that and into the late morning, early afternoon, we continue with scattered storm chances. We're also still breezy. We're also still very warm. We're talking non-thunderstorm wind gusts out there. But we have isolated to widely scattered showers and storms. Now, some of those could still be strong, potentially severe. By 2, take a look. We got this thunderstorm complex into our northeastern portions of southeastern Kansas, and we see the same thing, another thunderstorm complex as we head into the late afternoon and evening, but then we start to see new development of showers and storms. So what we're looking at is a couple of possibilities. Now, the most likely scenario is going to be a line of storms along a cold front. Those are going to be strong, possibly severe, as we roll into the late evening, early overnight hours out there. However, some data suggests we could get some isolated storms ahead of that line. If we do, those storms might have a little more kick to them than the line itself, but each set could be strong to severe. As we go overnight, we get that line of storms along the cold front. That continues to push on to the south and east, and potentially, again, strong to severe storms. Now, again, as we've discussed this morning, this line of storms, you're going to see it freezes here at 1 a.m. Wednesday and then vanishes, and that is because that particular set of data doesn't update for a while and right now stops at 1 a.m. Wednesday. But again, this line is the most likely scenario that we're looking at from late Tuesday into early Wednesday morning. But we could still have some showers and storms that could be strong to severe ahead of that line through about 5, 6 o'clock Wednesday morning. Then that will start to clear out. Most of our Wednesday is dry before we see another round of showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon and evening hours. So for tomorrow, this is tomorrow, we do have an isolated tornado threat across a good portion of the area. We do have the scattered hail risk across extreme parts of southeast Kansas in our immediate area. So we're talking quarter size hail or larger. But then we've got the bigger concern, which is going to be, especially with a line of storms, those winds. We have the scattered wind risks. That's a 2 out of 5 on there. So we're talking 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts, absolutely possible. As we get through our day today, again, 70 to start, 80 by 11 a.m. We're going to warm up very quickly out there, and we'll have those sunny skies across the region as well. I'm going to skip through this real quick. We'll cover it in a minute. I wanted to talk very quickly about the rest of this week. So again, late Wednesday, showers, thunderstorms, scattered showers and storms through the day on our Thursday. And then as we go overnight Thursday into early Friday morning, we could be looking at additional strong to severe thunderstorms. And these thunderstorm chances will continue with us, unfortunately, into the upcoming weekend as well. So just don't cancel your weekend plans, but definitely keep an eye to the sky. Get that KOAM sky Skywatch weather app. On the extended severe weather outlook right now, Thursday, the only area with a highlight on it, and it is to our west, but it's not that far to the west, so something we want to keep an eye on. We'll have one more look at your forecast and the news you need to know in just a moment, and we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or if you stick with us here on KOAM Plus, we're going to take a look at the impact that rain has on mosquitoes.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A man is in custody following an exchange of gunfire with police in Miami, Oklahoma, Saturday night. A male had fired a weapon from outside the Mia Bella restaurant through the glass into the restaurant. After confronting the suspect, officers found themselves in several rounds of gunfire as well as a short foot pursuit. The subject was shot and taken into custody and life-flighted to Tulsa. Only one person at Mia Bella suffered minor injuries by flying glass. And just before 7 p.m. Saturday, a semi and an SUV collided at Newman Road in North Rangeline in Joplin. The SUV was traveling south when it turned east into the path of the semi. 3 people were transported to area hospitals. Their injury status is unknown. Race fans gathered yesterday at Nevada Speedway for a benefit lunch to support the Baldwin family. Now, this followed the tragic news that 10-year-old Jordan Baldwin was struck by a vehicle and was in critical condition. All proceeds from the lunch went to help with medical expenses. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got a very warm, breezy day, mid-80s out there, sunny skies, south winds gusting to 20. Isolated shower storm by 10, otherwise more scattered showers and storms. Some could be strong, the low-grade severe overnight tonight. Non-thunderstorm winds still out of the south gusting to 25. Possible alert day tomorrow with the chance for more strong, potentially severe thunderstorms, and rain chances hang on through the upcoming weekend.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making newlyweds pot roast in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues this morning. Area runners gather together over the weekend to help raise money for one local organization.
Plus, the president of the Heartland Concert Band shares an invitation to this year's summer concert series. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.